Hi friends, so this is the fourth and the last lecture of expense by Francis Bacon. So we have seen that how to balance your income and expenditure. The basic principle you can say is, if your income is 1 rupee, spend only 50 paisa. The other way around, definitely it will be your undoing, no doubt about that. Now we come to the last, you can see there are 3 points in the last section, that is clearing estates, that is selling estates and paying your debts, repairing one's estate. There are problems in how to repair, and then recurring and once only expenses. Be careful with the recurring expenses. If it is once only, you can be magnanimous, you can be lavish. So in clearing a man's estate, he may as well hurt himself in being sudden. If you are selling your estates, if you are selling your property, all on a sudden, that can hurt you. You have to wait and see. Too sudden, as in letting it run on too long. So that's also true. Suppose you have to clear your debts, don't clear it all on a sudden. And the other extreme is letting it too long, allowing your debts to continue for a long period of time. That is as dangerous as he says. That is also letting it run on too long. If you allow your debts to continue for a long period of time, that is harmful. If you immediately clear it by selling your estates, that too is harmful. For hasty selling is as disadvantageous as interest. Hasty selling is what we call depressed sales now. So your income, what you get, will be less, comparatively less. Or otherwise, if you wait for something, wait for the right context, wait for the apt situation, then you may get more. In this case, what you are selling is as interest is. Hasty selling is as disadvantageous as interest. That is, you will have to pay interest if you wait for too long. That is what the previous sentence says now. As in letting it run on too long. If you let it run too long, what will happen to you? You will have to pay interest for a long period of time. But if you sell it all on a sudden, then that also is disadvantageous to you. Now, besides, what should actually you do? Besides, he that clears at once will replace for finding himself out of straits. Suppose I sell all my property, okay? Then what will happen to me? All on a sudden I will become poor. So I cannot accept that situation. I will be out of straits. Life will go out of gear. My standards will go down. So that I cannot suffer. So what will I do? He will revert to his customs. Even though you don't have your estates, you have already sold it for clearing your debts, then you will feel like a fish out of water. Fish out of water. That means you will say, oh, all my standards, what happened to me? Standard of living has gone down. So he will revert to his customs. He will go back to his old standard of living. That is again dangerous. Because you don't know anything now. Revert is custom. But he that cleared by degrees induced a habit of frugality. If a person sells his properties for paying debts, degrees, that means slowly. Slow means, say, in due course. Suppose you have to pay 1 lakh rupees as debt. Pay a debt of 1 lakh rupees. If you clear it at once, it may create problems for you. But you say in installments. We are very familiar with the installments now. See, they are going, you will see EMI resell, equal monthly installments. So if you clear your debts in equal monthly installments, what will happen is that clear by degrees, it induces the habit of frugality. It creates in you, circumstances will force you to lead a life of frugality. Frugality means moderate expense. Not lavish, but moderate. Be moderate. And gaineth as well upon his mind as upon his estate. So it gives it also, you gain in your mind. Gain in your mind means you become disciplined in spending. No, not spending. Disciplined in spending. Because EMI you have to pay. Equal monthly installments. Therefore, you will become moderate in your expenditure. The other person is sudden selling and then reverting to his customs. And that is very dangerous. So the sudden selling and clearing doubts, he will be like a fish out of water. He thinks that I have lost all my standards, my people will look at me, look down upon me and so on. Then what happens is he will immediately go back to his old ways of spending and living. And that will hurt him. But on the other hand, in that case everything is sudden. See, selling and also trying to lead. In that case what will you do? You will have to borrow again. So this is a very bad situation. But if you are selling it, clearing your doubts on EMI basis, then you will be frugal in your expenditure, frugal, moderate in your expenditure. And also it gives a discipline to your mind. You know, you have to be moderate, you have to pay the EMI and so on. So it is a mind as well as for your estate. It is a way of disciplining your mind, and also it is useful, or you gain in your estate. Or your estate will not go without any, it won't be a sudden disappearance of that. Your estate will be there, you will be leading a moderate life, and you will be paying EMI, and it will have a discipline in your mind as well as your spending. Certainly, who hath a state to repair may not despise small things. Suppose you have to repair your economy. Means you have run into some danger or some loss. Then what do you do? You should be careful even in minute things. So he said, if you want to repair your state of affairs, your economy, so to say, which probably might have been punctured by some unforeseen events. Now, in that case, you are in a state of repair. You have to that is what repair, or you can say you have to make your economy sound and safe. Suppose you have to make it sound and safe. In that case, you should even attend to small things. Even when you are buying a 5 rupee thing, you should try to see you are not spending too much. You may buy it for 3 rupees or 4 rupees by bargain. That is, don't waste anything. That's the point. Not even a paisa should be wasted. Certainly, who hath a state to repair, he has run into trouble, he has some problems, some economic problems, and you want to repair it. You want to make it, as I told you, safe and sound. Then you should meticulously calculate your income and your expenditure. Understand that? You should be very careful. Even minute expenditure should be controlled, if not necessary. Unnecessary expenditure, even if it is a small one, should be controlled. That is, small things. And commonly, it is less dishonorable to abridge petty charges. Less dishonorable, double negative. That means it is not dishonorable, or it is honorable to do what? To abridge petty charges. Petty charges. Abridge means lessen, L-E-S-S-E-N. make less petty charges, petty expenses. Petty expenses you can do away with when you are in need of repairing your economy. Small expenses, you can say, leave it, you can say. See, suppose that is how you can repair your economy that has been punctured by some unforeseen events. Understand? It can be cheating by somebody. It can be you suffered a loss in business. It can be a loss in shares and so on. No? So that you have, in that case, you should try to control even petty charges. Abridge, control, or make less even petty expenses. So it is better to do that than to stoop to petty things. That is below standard things. You control your expense rather than going below your standard. So for example, suppose the birthday of your child, you have to buy a cake. So cakes you have got different types now. Kutti pie cake, then you have got carrot cake and all those. So you buy a simple tea cake instead of spending 1,500, 5,000 and so on a cake. That is better than, it says, instead of going for a cake, you buy a bread and cut it and celebrate the birthday of your child. So that is stooping to petty things. Understand? But the other is you are dishonorable, less dishonorable to abridge petty charge. Instead of buying 5,000 rupees cake, you can buy a 200 rupees cake. Cake is cake, standard is the same. But that is better, and thus you save some money. That's better than spending all your money, and then instead of a cake, you buy a bread and celebrate your son's or daughter's birthday. So it is always better, if you are under repair, this is what you have to do. If you want to bring back your economy to health and vibrant, make it vibrant, lively and smart economy, then you have to reduce petty charges rather than be lavish and later becoming buying below standard things. Because if you don't have money, then what will happen? You have to go through it. So comparatively that is the other one is more honorable than stooping to petty things. Reducing petty charges is better than, and saving money is better than be lavish, spend too much, and later on you buy petty things instead of standard things. Understand? And then one more advice, that's what he said, repairing one's estate. In repairing one's estate, you have to be very meticulous, extremely careful in spending your money. On the other hand, you have to repair, you are under repair, but still you don't care about it, you become lavish, then what will happen? You don't control even petty charges, then you will become bankrupt, and after that you will have to buy paltry things rather than some things of standard. As I told you, buying cake and buying bread for a birthday celebration. Understand? And now the third point is recurring and once only expenses. A man ought warily to begin charges which once begun will continue. There are some standing instructions. Suppose you have to fund the education of a very poor child. So the child comes to you and says, I have got great ambition or desire to study from standard 1 to standard 10. And then you see, for 10 years you have to pay his fees. You agree to that. So 10 years you have to pay his fees and or his allowances, his books. dress and all those things. In that case, you should be careful. Because it is a charge which once begun has to continue. Recurring expenses. But in matters that return not, that is once only, somebody comes and says, sir, I have to go for an excursion. I have no money, I am a poor person. So you ask how much money you want? 500 rupees. Okay, 500 rupees. Then you forget. And next month you will not come to you saying, I have another excursion. No, it's not like that. But if you say, you commit yourself paying the fees of somebody, then you will have to go on paying. So in that case you should be careful. Because in between sometimes you yourself may suffer, or what can happen to you is that you may become a poor person. So you have to be careful in entering into a recurring expense. But once only that return not, he may be more magnificent, magnanimous, large heart. And see, today we have got these 3 points. Clearing estate should not be done all on a sudden. And also, don't be too slow. All on a sudden, sometimes you will have to suffer loss. If too long, you will have to give interest. Understand? That is. And all on a sudden, then you will feel your life is out of gear, and so you will try to replace the whole thing again. And for that, you will have to borrow money from somewhere, and that will be your undoing. But on the other hand, if you are doing in degrees, EMI basis, clearing, selling and also clearing your debts on EMI basis, equal monthly installments, then you will know how to lead a moderate life. You will know how to save some money, and that's good for your mind as well as for your estate. And then second point is repairing one's estate. If you are under repair, you should be careful with all your expenses, even small expenses. As otherwise what will happen, you become lavish, and later on you will have to buy petty things instead of standard things. And the third point is recurring expenditure. You have to be very careful. If once only, you can be magnificent. I hope that you have been following my lectures on expense. This is addressed to noble people. Nobility means lords and ladies of a state. That was 16th century, you should understand. Feudalism was still there. Understand? Feudalism reigned even in those days. So it is the feudal lords, actually, this essay is but useful for us also. For example, the most famous statement in this is, or the admonition in this essay is that if your income is 1 rupee, spend only 50 paisa. Otherwise, it will definitely prove your undoing. I think it is clear you are enjoying, so hope that you will share it with your friends. Let them also study and enjoy my classes. Is there any difficulty in that? No, I don't think there is any difficulty. But before we will go, as usual, we have got some corona matter here. Wander less, stay home more. Expose less, wear masks more. Come close less, stay away more. Endanger less, protect more. So these times are very tough, as you know. Therefore, we should put all our strength to fight this killer against. This is actually threatening the survival of the human race. So the human race should stand together. So if I protect myself, and also I protect yourself. So send this message, share this message with as many people as possible. You know, if you share this, I don't say that all the people will obey this or observe these things, but 30%, 20%, 10%, 5%, 2%. So, don't be very ambitious saying that if we forward this, everybody is going to follow this. No. If 50 plus, miracle. Bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your